Remember the buzz surrounding Samsung's groundbreaking trifold smartphone earlier this year? This innovative gadget can transform into a stunning 9.96-inch tablet, and it was always expected to come with a premium price tag. According to a recent report, this cutting-edge device could cost as much as $3,500, and it won't even be available in the US. Samsung's Galaxy Z Fold boasts a sleek 6.49-inch exterior display when folded, but it opens up to an impressive screen size of over 10 inches. With the Galaxy Z Fold 6 already priced at nearly $2,000, the introduction of this larger trifold device, featuring an additional folding section, is sure to push that price even higher. The latest speculation suggests that the starting price will be around $3,000, potentially reaching up to $3,500, depending on the features consumers choose. Rumors are swirling that Samsung is set to replicate its strategy from the current Fold series with the highly anticipated G Fold, but with a twist: production will be limited. Given the high costs and challenges associated with flexible OLED screens, foldable devices currently account for only 3 to 5% of Samsung's overall smartphone production. While it's expected that fewer than 5 million Galaxy Z Fold and Flip 6 phones will roll off the assembly line each quarter, the G Fold may be even more exclusive, with a potential cap of just 300,000 units. This means that tech aficionados in the US who have their hearts set on the G Fold might need to consider importing one. Samsung is anticipated to launch this innovative gadget in only 2 markets initially: its home turf of South Korea and the bustling tech landscape of China. However, there's a glimmer of hope for fans in other regions, including the US. If demand proves strong enough, Samsung could very well expand availability to additional markets. Samsung won't be the first firm to develop a trifold phone. Huawei offers the Mate X-T Ultimate, which costs $2,800, has 2 hinges, and reaches 10.2 inches when unfolded. The Samsung Galaxy G Fold is believed to come around the same time as the Galaxy Z Fold in Q3. With the trifold being built in such small numbers and offered in just 2 markets, don't anticipate it to be unveiled at the Fold or Flip Unpacked event. The G Fold will likely have its own special event at a subsequent time. It has been reported for years that Samsung would use the trifold design factor for their foldable smartphones. The business practically confirmed it earlier this year when it mentioned what was definitely a trifold phone in a lineup of its forthcoming handsets. When questioned during the conference call about its plan for foldables, Samsung replied that it would maximize product competitiveness based on form factor innovation. It stated that competitiveness would be improved by concentrating on portability and performance, while Galaxy AI will be tailored for foldables to give a better user experience. Foldables will offer large screen experiences for fold, may potentially be a clue to the planned 9.9-inch display of the trifold tablet. The business also claimed that it is important to ensure usability that meets customer expectations in real-life usage environments for new form factors. Unfortunately, Samsung won't be the first to sell such a handset, as the Huawei Mate X-T Ultimate design got the accolade in 2024. But with Huawei restricted by its lack of Google applications and limited release zones, Samsung might effectively deliver the first triple foldable that most would-be consumers throughout the globe would contemplate purchasing. Usually, we see Samsung's new foldables arrive every summer, so we may conceivably see the G Fold in just a few months. With that in mind, we're compiling up everything the rumors we've heard so far regarding this triple folding phone. So go on to find out more about the cutting-edge Galaxy G Fold. There's a huge vacuum in our information when it comes to the exact technical specifications of the Galaxy G Fold, but there are still a few morsels to go off of. Firstly, the G Fold will supposedly be an inward-folding gadget, which means there should still be a separate cover screen on the opposite side of the device to the primary flexible display. An outward-folding device, like as the Huawei Mate X-T, doesn't have a distinct cover screen, but rather utilizes part of the folding display as the front screen when folded. As for dimensions, the G Fold might measure roughly 10 inches completely open, with a cover screen of 6.49 inches. That's on pace with Huawei's phone, and would fit with the benchmark established by the 6.3-inch outside display and 7.6-inch inner display sizes of the Galaxy Z Fold 6. Camera details are currently a mystery, but we'd assume a similar layout to that rumored for the Galaxy Z Fold 7, with a 200 megapixels main camera, 12 megapixels ultra-wide camera, and 10 megapixels 3x telephoto camera on the back, and then a 12 megapixels front camera in a punch-hole notch on the cover display, and a 4 megapixels under-display camera on the main display. It's comparable with the processor and storage specifications. There's nothing to go awful from the rumor mill, but it's probable Samsung will employ a Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy, as we saw on the Galaxy S25 series earlier in 2025, and 12 gigs RAM, and at least 256 gigs of storage. Battery capacity is challenging to determine considering the odd form factor we're talking about. The Mate Xt's battery is 5,600 milliamps, but the Galaxy Z Fold 6 has a 4,400 milliamps capacity, so with an additional panel of space to place a battery in, ideally Samsung can cram in a few more milliamp hours to counteract the higher power drain of the bigger display. Charging is presumably a known spec, however, with the G Fold purportedly employing 25-watt charging like Samsung's previous foldables. It would be amazing if Samsung opted with their quicker 45-watt charging option instead, however. The Samsung tri-folding G Fold has been speculated to be an exclusive to China and South Korea, much like the Z Fold Special Edition. So it's perhaps not too shocking that it has emerged in the former's 3C certification database. Unfortunately, the listing suggests that the corporation will be continuing its habit of ignoring fast charging equipment. First observed by the Tech Outlook, the trifold is recorded in the database with the SM9680, also stated on 9-volt and 2.77 amperes, which would convert to around 25 watt. This would be commensurate with a charging pace of practically every other Samsung smartphone, with a few S Ultra models being the only outliers in recent times. In addition to the maximum charging rate, the description also mentions that the item will not be offered with its power adapter. This is also regrettable but predictable given the firm has done so for its flagships for some time, and has lately also done the same for its mid-range Galaxy devices. While the trifold has been speculated to be arriving this year, there's no unanimity as to when precisely. Prior reports indicate to a debut with the now traditional Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7, however most current speculations hint to an October launch instead. We'd want to know more about this Galaxy G Fold smartphone in advance of its reported introduction this year, and maybe the Samsung tipsters out there will oblige when they can. But for now, we're kind of just glad knowing that Samsung is working on this type of phone. There's no pressure for the business to deliver this phone, not yet anyhow. So if Samsung can introduce a handset that's polished and bug-free out of the gate like Huawei, and unlike its initial Galaxy Fold, then we're willing to wait a little longer. Next, Samsung Trifold phone might be restricted to 25-watt charging, although I'm not convinced that's a negative thing. We've previously heard lots of speculations regarding Samsung launching a Trifold smartphone into the market in the very near future, maybe branded Galaxy G Fold. Unfortunately, the recent speculations reveal a dismal lack of movement for the phone, because it could be stuck with the same charging pace as the standard Galaxy S25. According to leaker Panda Flash Pro, the Samsung Trifold is now sporting a charging speed between 23 and 24 watt, which they believe will probably be sold as 25-watt charging. This is the same charging speed as both the Galaxy Z Fold 6 and the Galaxy S25. But for a phone of this class, I had thought Samsung would push up the maximum charging speed to meet the Galaxy S25 Ultra and Galaxy S25 Plus. Considering the mid-range Galaxy A56 now supports 45-watt charging, this is surprisingly low. Though, I'll confess, I'm not all that shocked. Panda Flash Pro subsequently reported that the Trifold would miss out on under-display cameras and opt for a classic hole punch design instead. And in contrast to the charging speed, given the terrible performance of those cameras, I believe that's clearly for the best. While Samsung likes to push the boundaries of its hardware, particularly premium phones, charging speed has never been one of its strong points. Phones appear to have been locked at 25 watt or 45 watt for the last many years, and it's only lately that 45 speeds have been accessible. Samsung's largest competitors, Google and Apple, have likewise lingered at lower speeds. The iPhone 16 Pro Max only received a 45 watt update last year, while the Pixel 9 Pro XL can only achieve 37 watt. But you also have manufacturers like OnePlus, Xiaomi, and Huawei which can give speeds in triple digits. Foldable devices normally don't reach the same heights, but even 67 watt, charging more than twice the pace of a 25 watt charger. Then I'm not quite persuaded this is such a horrible thing. Admittedly, having 25 watt charging speed on an ultra-premium phone like the G Fold is quite aggravating, but there might be a legitimate reason for it. You have to know that quicker charging typically creates greater heat. If a phone doesn't have the cooling mechanisms in place to disperse that heat, it might destroy the phone. So you could make the argument for some phones to not provide ultra-rapid charging. Without the required cooling chambers and electronics within, it might wind up doing more hurt than good. Considering foldable phones concentrate the design and form aspect, it would make sense for them to have more rudimentary cooling compared to a non-folding Galaxy S phone, especially when you know the G Fold will be the first Samsung phone of its sort. And if the battery life is as excellent as other recent Samsung phones and other phones with the greatest battery life, rapid charging may not be all that required. We won't know for sure until Samsung officially introduces the phone, which we're anticipating to happen later this year. So that's all we know for now. We'll be sure to keep you updated as soon as we have more information. Thanks for watching.